Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So we didn't have time before to kind of do any more. So in the last video where we were having a play with the collage sheets, we just created these two tags, which I really, was really pleased with. Thought they looked really pretty. So I thought we'd come and have a play now with a couple more of the collage sheets. So this was the other one that I had wanted to do the other day and just didn't get round to. So this one is one of the Go Gently sheets, and as you can see, it's kind of really nice, delicate, really pretty colours. But I'm wanting to kind of mix it up. I'm trying to push myself out of my boundaries and kind of, do things that I wouldn't normally do, I suppose. So I have pulled in for this one more of those gorgeous flowers. So we used some of these flowers obviously on those other tags, but they were much more naturally kind of complementing colours. These are, to me, these don't feel obvious colours to be put in with these or this collage page, but I'm going to attempt to put them together. Something about them was kind of calling me, and yeah, hopefully we're going to kind of make them work. So I mean, this one here, obviously the pink, is slightly more kind of forgiving. So, that's that one. Same with this one. I feel it's quite, quite sort of forgiving. It's these orange ones that are kind of, yeah, a bit more random. But if you have a look in the flowers on here, hopefully the camera's picking this up. I'll just bring it a bit closer. There is orange kind of in those centres of the flowers. It's very muted because, the images are softened, but there is orange in there. So I feel that although these are a kind of more out there choice, I feel that we can make them work. So first of all, before I kind of do anything, I'm going to cut down my size of tag. So I kind of need to decide, do I go for this kind of top section here, or do we want to kind of go more for here? So I think I'm going to go for this piece here. So I'm probably going to have it cut down to about here. I quite like giant tags. That is kind of just my thing. I quite like them quite big. Not to say, never say never kind of thing, but just on the whole, I do quite like them quite large. And in the last one, what we did, we left them kind of rectangular rather than cutting them off tag shaped. And again, that's something else I quite like doing. So we may or may not do that. Now, I made a really shambolic job of chopping that down. So let me try and tidy this up slightly because, my gosh, it just looks terrible at the moment. So come like that, a bit more down the side. And actually, I was trying to kind of keep as much of that flower in as I could, but I think then it's just going to be a little bit too wide. So I'm going to have to kind of trim it down slightly more. So there we go. I mean, to me, that just looks really pretty on its own. I really love those kind of colours and patterns put together. They just look really pretty. So this one, I'm going to play around with these orange images and try and kind of somehow incorporate those. So let me just move these out of the way. Right, haven't really got a plan. So again, we're just going to kind of play around and, see what kind of works. So just wondering whether to kind of do this tag shaped or not. I mean, I quite like it with the, rectangular shape. So I'm kind of happy to do that. So I think what I'll do is I'll start by popping this onto this ivory cardstock, just so that I'm thickening this up, because otherwise it feels like a very flimsy tag. And sometimes, flimsy tags are what you need, aren't they? So I think it's good to kind of make in a variety of, thicknesses. But I think for this, I'd like it kind of slightly thicker. So just pop that down like that and just spread it out a bit with the card. Oops. There we go. And then I'll just trim that down. And again, I'm going to have to kind of cut it slightly smaller because I think I said this in the last one. What I quite like doing is when I pop them onto the backing sheet, is then if you just trim away, you know, that very edge section, I find that that tends to get rid of any that hasn't got glue on it, and then, you know, your tag's kind of glued better onto the actual card. So, you know, again, I've just kind of got a slither there. And then this side obviously was the straight edge of the card, so, you know, it probably would have been better to kind of leave that, but we'll trim it down slightly because of the glue situation again. So just kind of enables you to kind of make sure it's glued as close to the edges as you can get, you see. So that's that, and then we'll just trim up the bottom again, just really kind of close to that edge, and it just trimmed off those bits. Right, so that's that piece. Now I still can't decide whether to actually make it kind of tag shaped or not. I don't think I will. It's probably a little bit too wide and stumpy to be tag shaped anyway, so I probably will leave it. I'm going to rough up the edges, and then I'm not going to ink them just yet because we'll kind of see how the tag evolves before we ink it, because in the last one we kind of, you know, were a bit adventurous and used some of those really lovely green inks, didn't we? And it may be that we'll kind of decide to use something else on here, you know, maybe not, we might not even ink it, but you know, if I kind of leave them raw, then we've got some options there. So this flower, I really am loving this one. I also brought along a bird. Now I don't know whether we can actually kind of incorporate the bird on here as well. I mean, to me that looks really quite nice. We could kind of have some more flowers kind of here. We could have this giant flower kind of just there. Maybe something like that. Looks quite pretty. And then for me, I just probably would want to kind of pop something at the bottom. So again, I mean, I'm not quite sure what, but I did bring along a kind of few, you know, ready stamped pieces that we could just kind of, you know, work in here somewhere. So for instance, this, you know, we could have that kind of down the bottom somewhere. Might be quite nice. I mean, again, I've got this really cute stamped postcard piece, so we could have that kind of on there. You know, just something like that, I feel, you know, looks quite nice on there. What do you guys think? Yeah, I mean, you might be sat watching thinking, oh my gosh, what is she doing with this? You know, but sometimes it's nice to kind of just do really different things, isn't it? So I'm just going to ink this up because obviously this had been stamped on white card, so it was looking really, you know, kind of out of place. And then I'm going to attempt to ink these flowers up, and we'll just see kind of what happens with those, whether they kind of tone down a bit or stay bright. So I mean, to me, that doesn't really look like anything much is happening to this flower. It looks like it's staying pretty much, you know, true to its original colour. So, I wonder if that's too much of the orange. And we should just kind of, you know, not have quite so much orange. I've also got a little piece of doily. This, I think, was left from the other day's tags, so I wonder whether we could kind of have doily somewhere. No, I don't like that at all. I do really like this orange flower, however, so let's ink that up. Oops, I've now taken the stem completely off of it. Well, I can glue the stem back down, or we might not even bother with the stem, to be fair. Let's have a look. It might actually work out better without the stem. Not sure. Let's see. We could have the stem kind of somewhere else, I guess. Oh, that's just really odd, isn't it? That's just really strange. So, oops. If we were having the stem, that was kind of where it was going. Actually, I didn't mind it without the stem, weirdly enough. So, let's just have a look here. So these are just some flowers from a kind of vintage book, and along with the bird. And I just thought, you know, they maybe kind of make quite a fun sort of tag. I quite like it like that. I'm going to stand up and have a look through the camera again, because you know, it just sometimes does look quite different when you're looking down on it, and you know, just kind of good to get a different kind of perspective on it. So, but I do quite like that. So I'm just going to glue these flowers down. Like that. So I just want to say a massive thank you to those guys, you know, or all of you guys who've already bought some of my collage sheets. I really hope that you're enjoying them. I think they're quite a lot of fun to kind of play with, and you know, really offer some different kind of things. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, really. It's really nice, and they seem to have been really well received, which, you know, obviously for me that's absolutely lovely, because, you know, of course we all want our things to be enjoyed, don't we? And yeah, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, and you know, it's so nice to think that people are liking things that you have kind of created. So yes, a big thank you there. Oops. And I've said this before, but I'm finding it more and more, I just wish that, you know, I didn't have to sleep so that I could kind of suddenly have all these extra hours in the day. It would be fantastic, because you could achieve so much more if you just didn't ever have to go to sleep. Because there's just so many things that I've got kind of now half on the go, and I never used to do that. I used to literally finish one thing, then start another thing. But I've now gone down that track of just starting multiple things. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think what happens, your mind is jumping around all over the place, and the more you craft in, the more ideas kind of spring up, and so that's, yeah, kind of a situation that I'm in at the moment. And not that I'm complaining, because that's a lot better than obviously those moments where we have a kind of crafter's block, you know, which happens obviously from time to time, and that's horrible. So I mean, I'd much rather this is awesome, but I just wish I had kind of more time to be able to kind of just do things. So I'm sure that most of you probably feel the same, to be honest. Right, so I really like how that's looking. I have got some butterflies, so we could have a butterfly around. I love putting butterflies on tags. You know, I just think they, well, I mean, they're just sort of really cute, and they're just a really, really sweet way to kind of finish a tag off, aren't they? You know, I think. So, yeah, I just really love it. So what have you guys all been up to recently? Have you kind of been doing anything fun? We have been recently to see the film Aladdin. You know, the kind of remake film of it. It's got Will Smith. And I don't know who the young actor was actually who plays Aladdin, but he's very handsome, really nice looking, you know, young actor. And then Princess Jasmine, I'm not sure again who played her, but again, a very beautiful young lady. So yeah, it was quite good. Some of it was very funny and very good, and then some of it, you know, not so much. But my daughter quite enjoyed it. My 12-year-old, he didn't. But I think he's at that age where he just, you know, it wasn't cool to come out and say you liked it. So he had to kind of come out and say he didn't like it. But he probably would have said that, you know, regardless, really, because, well, my boys are pretty good. They're not kind of like that, really. But he is of that age where, you know, Aladdin would not be cool. So, yeah, he may kind of have shunned that a little bit. And then I'm going to be going to see that film Rocket Man about Elton John. I think I said to you that my eldest son is doing his GCSEs at the moment. So he's got a break kind of in them. So him and I are going to go and watch that at the cinema, because that one's a 15. So it's not a kind of family. It's not a family one. So yeah, just him and I are going to go and watch that. So I'm looking forward to that, and I will let you all know, you know, what I thought of that. If you're going to see it or anything, or been to see it, you could, you know, comment below and say what you thought to it, because it's really nice to kind of hear what everybody thinks to things, isn't it? I heard a review the other day, and it was a really fantastic review. I think they said, I'm sure that the reviewer kind of said, well, if you liked Bohemian Rhapsody, this is it on steroids. So I'm assuming that that's a good thing. So I might actually throw this away. I know that seems like a wicked waste, but I will struggle probably to use these. Although, actually, I'm not going to throw it away. I thought that was a little bit radical to actually kind of be going to throw something away. So no, at the last minute, I decided not to bother after all. So, yes, not going to throw it away. Right. So I'm going to pop this onto here. Just going to hot glue that. And then actually this tag, I think I will just vintage photo, you know, use the vintage photo distress, because it's actually looking quite kind of grungy now. So I will distress it with that. But I like how it's turned out. I'm glad that I kind of did something different with it, because it would have been easy and kind of predictable to go down the pale, beautiful kind of pink route, and I wanted to kind of try something different. So, you know, I'm glad that I did. Hot glue on here. Right, I'm just going to kind of trim this round. I don't want it kind of shaped exactly like the piece, but I didn't want it quite so squared off at the corners, so that just looks slightly better to me. And I'm just wondering which side to have it. I'm going to have it this side, or we could have it in the middle actually. Might be kind of nice in the middle. I normally tend to put things kind of off to the side, but it might be nice in the middle, because we've got things tending to be on that side, So I think maybe the middle might be kind of nice for this. So again, I'll just hot glue it down, because, you know, that's really kind of a nice way to make sure it's kind of stuck and quickly, for the sake of obviously doing the video. So there we go, and I'm just going to pop this butterfly on. Now, I had some lace here we go, that I thought we could use as a little, you know, probably just at the corner again. Or I wonder whether we could have, I mean, not this one, because this is obviously the wrong colour, but I'm just wondering whether it might look better with a piece in the middle. Let me just pull this back in. I wonder whether we could somehow use this. just see if I kind of cut this. Just trying to find like the widest part to be able to get like the most from it. Probably here. So if I just cut that across here. And then if I just cut that down there. Oops. So it's a little bit kind of raggedy, but that's okay. So we could kind of have it like that. What do you think? That's quite a nice kind of tab, isn't it? And, well, sorry, I'm now stuck on the lace with the kind of hot glue threads that I've got. So that's quite nice, isn't it? And obviously what you could do is actually, you know, go around this on the sewing machine. I mean, again, obviously I haven't got my sewing machine here, so I won't be doing that. I will just probably glue that. But I mean, the glue is fine also. So before I do that, I'm just going to kind of now just ink up, and I might just kind of more ink mainly the edges of this rather than all over, because I do like those kind of delicate papers, so I don't want to kind of, you know, completely grunge the whole thing up so it's lost that, you know, completely. So there we go, and then we're just going to distress the back, because this hasn't been coffee dyed or anything. This is just some ivory card. So I'll just ink it up a bit, and then that just, you know, just kind of makes it look a little bit more in keeping with the front. And then what we could do is add the orange flowers again to the back, a bit like we did on the one of the other tags that we did, because it just kind of brings the back into the front, if you see what I mean. You know, kind of ties the two areas in. So might just pop it down like that and then just trim it off. So yeah. My stomach's now rumbling, so excuse my stomach. There we go. Oops. Just mop up any excess glue that's coming out. And I'll just trim that from this side. Okay. Just go along that. There we go. And, you know, for me, that just kind of ties in the back and the front, which is kind of nice. So that's that. Get rid of those. And then we're going to pop this on here like that. Do we like that one? Just going to double check just before I do that, because once it's on, it's on. And then there'll be no going back and changing my mind. So I just want to check that I wouldn't rather have, you know, a kind of corner type piece. No, I quite like that. So again, you know, I'm just going to hot glue this. But I mean, of course, if you were kind of making something like this, you could sew yours. There we go. And then I'm going to do one on this side. There we go. Okay. Really cute. And I wonder whether we need to put a little bit of pearl trim just across there. It's quite white, this pearl trim. I've got those small pearls, which I feel like they may be slightly yellower looking. Just rummaging in my tin, which I have definitely got some, but who knows whether I can find them. Also got that piece of pink lace actually, which could kind of have that there. That's quite nice actually, because that ties in, you know, the pink from the Go Gently kind of collage papers. So could have that there. What do you guys think? Yeah, I quite like that, so I might have that. So again, I'll just hot glue that down like that. Okay, still looking for the you know, the pearly trim, which now I cannot for the life of me find anywhere, which is a bit annoying. I just felt like that would have been just right. So I have got some more of it to the side of me, I think, but I don't want to take up loads of your time just looking for items, and oh, it's just boring, isn't it, to be watching someone while they're rummaging through looking for things. So hopefully somebody else is going to get the door. It's probably just a delivery person or something. That's all it normally is. Right, there we go. Didn't take me too long to rummage for that. So if I just cut this clean off like that, just see whether this is kind of better than the Diamante. Yeah, I quite like that. So I might just actually kind of hold it on there, dab some glue along like that, and then okay, I really like how that's turned out. It looks really different, and I'm really glad that I you know, kind of went for something really different, because yeah, it would have been really easy to have just done the, you know, predictable, go with the pretty pink kind of delicate things, and you know, I'm quite pleased that I've done something a bit more out of my comfort zone. So that's that one. So let's do another one quickly. Just check what time I'm, right, half an hour. So hopefully we've got time for one more. So we'll try and do this one kind of probably a bit more in the delicate kind of tones. So again, just decide kind of which section I'm going to use. I wonder if we should do a smaller one. You know, because otherwise maybe all my tags are kind of turning out gigantic. But I really, I like those gigantic tags. I think there's something kind of nice about them. Well, let's do this. So let's cut it along here. Like that. And then I'll cut it kind of over here. Question is this flower then going to be just much too big for this tag now? And again, if we're going to then cut the corners, which I would like to, well, let's just go for it and we'll see how we get on. And obviously if we have to change it into a different style or use a different flower, we'll you know, we'll use a different flower or change the style of the tag. So again, I'm just going to kind of glue this down. Just go kind of as close to the edges as I can. And I've added a bit more here at the top, because this one I'm going to cut corners to make it more like a kind of luggage tag. So I want to just make sure it's got plenty of glue that will still keep it glued down when it's cut, you know, the triangle kind of shapes out of the corners. Okay, there we go. And we'll just trim this off here. Trim it off here. trim it off there, and then we'll just trim it off down the side. Okay, bin all these bits and bobs. So I'm just going to cut some the corners. So we'll do one, and then we'll take that over there. Cut that one. Like that. Okay, so that's that. I will just rough the edges up because, you know, I do really like that. I just think it kind of adds a bit more texture to the tag, and it makes it a little bit more kind of interesting, you know, to look at, to touch, just everything really. So that's that. Got that flower. I wonder if we could have a piece of the doily and just tear that a bit smaller. Now I just wonder whether I need to kind of cut this flower down a bit, or whether I need to get a different flower. So I'm just rummaging in my little folder of kind of ready fussy cut flowers. Now I'm not sure that I've got anything else that's, you know, a delicate kind of colour, and got that, which is quite nice. Just having a look. You see, I thought I'd come on so organised, obviously having these flowers already, but you know, then if you change your mind at all, you kind of have to start from scratch. Let's just have a look and see how that looks when I'm looking down on it. So that's quite pretty, isn't it? And it's, you know, probably much more the right sort of size. So we could have something like that on there. And then just see what other stamped things that I've bought along. Oh, that's better actually, because this is lilac and the other one is pink stamped. So, you know, onto pink paper. So I'm going to swap that out. Maybe I'll put a ticket here. So I've just got a stamped ticket, and then we could put that definition of the word cherish down there. Just checking what else I've got here that I've kind of cut out ready. I mean, I'm sure I've got some other pink stamped things, but again, they're kind of in my folder, and I just, you know, I really don't want to kind of just sap up people's time watching me, or not even watching, because obviously I'm doing that behind my desk so as not to send everything flying. So you're not even kind of watching me, but just listening to me rummage through things, which that's just no fun whatsoever, is it? So, right, so what I'm going to do is with that ticket, you can see that I've kind of cut it square, and then it's got those little notches. So I'm just going to take my crocodile and just take them out. For me, that's just a better way of doing it, because I don't find them very easy to actually kind of cut those tiny spaces. So for me, that's quite a good way to kind of do that. Now, I did have some sheet music, so we could put some sheet music in maybe behind there. I'm not sure whether I like that actually, because it's quite nice keeping it very muted and kind of pale, isn't it? So I'm not too sure whether I'm going to go for that. So if I just bring some lace back in. And I've got here that white lace, and again, I mean, this is just some cheap and cheerful lace that I kind of managed to get. And I just bought, you know, quite a large quantity of it, about 3 meters, I think. And obviously we're just using teeny weeny bits. So I mean, 3 meters would, you know, it's going to last quite a while. Although I am using it at a fast rate, so it maybe isn't going to last quite as long as I kind of had thought. But yeah, it's just a really convenient lace to kind of have, to be able to kind of use. So if I just cut that down. Now, for me, something else is needed up here. I didn't really like the sheet music. I thought that was quite, you know, quite dark on such a really pretty muted tag. So I'm just going to have a look and see whether, like in my fabulous flowers, whether there are any flowers or anything that I would be able to just pop up there. So we could kind of maybe have something like that. Just see what other ones I've got. Just because actually I'm quite liking this tag in its really subtle kind of form that it's looking. So, you know, I'm not especially overly wanting to kind of put anything that's dark on there because it looks really, really pretty as it is. So let's just have a look. And perhaps we could do it like that. That's quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah, I think I quite like that. So yeah, let's go for that. I'm trying not to deliberate too much. I'm, you know, very aware that sometimes I'm sat here for ages and this must be so tedious. You know, it's tedious for me and I'm the person doing it, so it must be even more frustrating for you guys. So here we go. Right. So I'm just trying to be a little bit quicker and kind of a bit less, you know, thinking and thinking and thinking over such minor, pathetic points. So we could have it like that. And I'm just wondering whether we should put that ticket onto some lace as well. So let's just have a look here. Okay. So we could just kind of cut that around. Again, I mean, I'm not trying to get it perfectly cut to the shape or anything, but just so it's a bit smaller. Yeah, that kind of just adds something, you know, extra. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of barely visible, but you know, it does make a little bit of difference, which sometimes just that little bit of difference is kind of all you need, isn't it? So pop that there, like that. And then I'm going to pop that doily down. Come on, come on, come on. Right, pop the doily down like that. And then I'm going to pop the flower down here. I don't really want the flower hanging off the page because, or hanging off the tag, because you know, it is only paper, so it would very quickly get damaged. So I'm going to try and fit it onto the tag as best I can. So, you know, she says, as I then miss the tag completely. There we go. There we go. And then we're going to pop this on here onto some lace, like that. So let me just, again, just hot gluing this down, and the hot glue obviously is going through the lace, so it's kind of a way of sticking your lace on as well. Whereas when I use the wet glue, I do tend to wet glue it kind of to the lace and then to the card. But if it's hot glue, the hot glue is kind of powerful and, you know, super strong, so it's going to go through the lace and you know, attach it like that. So that's what I thought I'd do. Now I'm just going to punch a hole up here like that, and then I'll just get one of my Let's get the term right today. Hole reinforcers. If you watch my channel a lot, you'll know that I just, for some reason, can never ever say hole reinforcers. I always say page protectors. I don't know why, but for some reason, that's just where my mind goes, page protectors. Right, so I'm going to use this lace here. And again, I'm going to do that thing that I said I saw Artie Mays do, where she did the eyelash trim, because I just loved that. I thought that looked so pretty, and I've done it several times since, and yeah, it really does look nice. So that's my kind of tab, and then just grab some eyelash trim. And I've got this gorgeous pink, so again I'm just going to kind of tie that round. Oops, tie it around once, and then around, you know, going the other way, so it's kind of double knotted, but hopefully in a secure way, like that. That lace is a bit long and a bit flimsy, but it's just some that I picked up the other day because I was kind of running low on just white trim, you know, lace kind of trim. Might just put another eyelash trim. I wonder whether we should mix it up in the colours. I've still got these on this gorgeous thing that Laura had sent me. No, I'm going to stick to the pink, I think. So I'll just take a little bit more off. It's a brilliant way to store them. She'd put them, you know, wound them around small tags and on a book ring. And I've got some hooks at the back of my desk where they just kind of hook up. And yeah, it's a brilliant kind of storage system for your eyelash trim. Okay. Oh, I love that. And do you know what? I wish that actually I'd put some eyelash trim down here beneath this Cherish, but obviously that just occurred to me too late, so I just hadn't really thought of that in time, but never mind. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take some glitter, just pop a bit of glitter in the middle of that flower. I mean, it's really subtle, you can kind of barely see that, but just enough to kind of, you know, pick up and look really pretty. So, oh, I love that. It looks so gorgeous. So let me put a piece of white sheet here like we did the other day, because, you know, I do think these things, obviously I am aware that things look different when they're actually uploaded and kind of on a screen, but through my small screen that I'm looking down, you can't really see it in amongst the messy surface. So putting the, you know, them like this hopefully is kind of a bit clearer for you. So we made the kind of 2 tags. That was obviously using the Go Gently collage sheets. So we've got this gorgeous one that's kind of very subtle and pink and girly and yeah, really pretty. And then we did this one that obviously very grungy and really colour clashed the papers with these gorgeous vibrant orange kind of flowers. So 2 quite, again, different looking tags, hopefully. And yeah, I think they're both really pretty. I'm not quite sure which one's my favourite. Probably the pink, because that's more my types of colours really than the orange. But having said that, I do, you know, I'm kind of more struck on the orange because I really like that grunged up kind of thing. So I hope that you guys like them. And as I say, thank you to all those people who've actually bought those collage pages so far. And I really hope that you're having fun using them. I'd love to see kind of things that you're making with them, so you know, feel free to kind of send me some pictures or whatever. So yeah, okay, I will stop waffling on now and let you all get on with your day. Hope you all have a really nice rest of your day, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks, Hen. Bye.